Just got passed by a girl as if I was standing. Good morning. It's Sunday 9 a.m. I'm going so far on the bike lane of San Juan, but today I got like 93-kilometer planned ride. I have 3 bottles on my bike today with nutrition. 2 of them are with Santa Madre, 80 grams of carbs in each bottle, so 160 for it's going to be a long ride, but I'm going to be taking those in a shorter time frame. And also I have a caffeine shot on me, and I had 2 coffees, so I'm imitating sort of the race nutrition. There are 6 days to go until the race next week. I'm going to do this Gandia half distance triathlon, 1.9k swim, 82k bike, and a 21k run. So today's like a last long day before that. It's actually quite chilly this morning. I haven't really ridden that early, to be completely honest. And okay, the sun has just gone up an hour ago, so now it's probably around 20-21 degrees in here, and I wouldn't mind actually a long sleeve jersey. So autumn is coming. Speaking of today, the plan is 90k. I'm going to be riding like 93, I think, within like the route that I selected. I'm going to be doing 15-kilometer intervals, first increasing the power, and then the last one a little bit easier. So we're gonna see. The plan is to go to Benidorm and then actually come back over over some hills, so it should be over 1,000 meters of elevation, but yeah, we'll have to see how pretty that is. I think should be very nice. Okay, one-handed over the tram ways, and there's a lot of cyclists that are just going out there. Not a usual time for me. I don't typically get up that early, but today hopefully we'll cover some of the distance at least before it's hot. And next week in 6 days, the start of my race would be like 8:30 in the morning, so we'll need to get up by that time. 20 minutes in, I got out of the city. Yeah, I'm not sure if that makes any logical sense, but I'm kind of trying to imitate what will happen on the race day, which is the swim comes first. Given how bad of an open water swimmer I am, it would probably be around 35 minutes at least. So what I'm doing is I'm trying not to take any carbs for the first 15k segment, which would probably be like half an hour or a bit more, given that I'm riding out of the town on the slower roads. So I'm trying to not take any carbs because that's what will happen on the race day. And then starting from the second one, I will pack all the carbs within the next 2 hours from the bottles. And then I have just like a grain bar to finish the day, because I will be riding longer than on the race day. So today I will probably be riding like 3.5 hours. On the race day I hope to be like 2:15 or so for 82k, especially it's going to be flat. But yeah, we'll have to see. So speaking of nutrition, I still don't have my order from Bike-In, which is like 6 days from the race. I don't have my race wheels, I don't have my nutrition. The same with the order from Decathlon with like the bike rack for the car. So I'm going to be taking a car next Thursday, but the bike will not fit in. Like there's no way it will fit in. And I'm waiting for the bike rack to actually even carry it to the start, to the race venue. And then from biking, I'm waiting for the nutrition. As I said in the previous video about the races, it's going to be a beta fuel based nutrition. I'm going to have 2 packs of 80 grams for the bike, plus the new beta fuel gels. Well, they're not very new, but I wasn't racing when they came out. So like 40 grams of carbs per gel. I kind of know them, so I'm gonna go with them. So far I couldn't get them, so I'm training with Santa Madre, which is the new brand. I tried their gel yesterday on like a bike plus run. I mean, to be honest, it was completely horrible. I always wanted to try some of the neutral gels. I know Martin does them, makes them, and so I bought one from Santa Madre. I actually liked the one in the bottle, the drink mix, because it's like 1-to-1 fructose and glucose. So I also took the gel. The neutral gel takes like some sort of cough syrup. It's like completely, I don't understand. It's not neutral. It's not just like neutral sweet. It's like sweet and sour and minty, and yeah, I don't even know like what's the taste. It's like a cough syrup taste. It's not neutral. So I did like that it was very liquid, so that one is kind of nice because you can drink it easier than you can drink, let's say, SIS gels. But yeah, but the taste was horrible. So like if you mind the taste, don't get the neutral one, I would say. And yeah, so today I'm gonna do the drink mix of Santa Madre. If that goes well, maybe I'll switch to that at least, because it's easily available in my, like in the gym right near my swimming pool. So I'm getting over the first hill towards the Villa Hoyosa small town. It's my regular route now because it's completely empty. It's not very flat, but it's so empty that you can ride on TT bars easily. And then 15k from that, it's Benidorm, where I turn left and go up to the hills. Coming to the end of my second interval, so 30k in, 63 to go. I'm halfway through the first bottle with Santa Madre drink. It's okay. It's like, it's a little bit sour. It goes in okay. I took the one with like the lemon taste, and it seems to be hard to break the lemon taste. It's just like all the same. And what I like about it is that it doesn't feel like there's any thickness to the drink. It's like just purely liquid, but with 100 grams of carbs in it. So yeah, I met a few groups of cyclists coming like the opposite direction, around like 20-30 people, a lot of cyclists, many with sporting cars. And there's a few people like me with like aero bars who look pretty sad and lonely. So the triathletes go alone and the cyclists go in bigger groups. Like these ones. So this is probably 5th group I see. And I'm coming to, yeah, I think I'm coming to Benidorm in about 9k. Now going on the 3rd level of power, so getting it up slightly. I think the next interval would be the easiest because I'm going to be going uphill, and the fifth one probably a hard one because there would be downhill sections and then uphill sections, so we'll have to see how that will go. But I think the sixth one is the one with like the biggest downhill of the whole ride. So yeah, I keep going. Check this out. The town that is right next to the sea and full of pretty tall buildings, where the second one can block the view of the third one, and so on and so forth. Like the more they build, the less you can see of the sea from the further ones. But the road is still very nice. Like now it got wider, but it's very comfortable, like really comfortable as always. Just took the first and only caffeine shot. It's a caffeine booster from Power Bar, 50 milliliters, like a tiny plastic bottle with 200 milligrams of carbs, not carbs, caffeine. So from whatever we know, to get any performance boost, you need about 3 to 6 milligrams of caffeine per kilogram of body weight. So for my weight, it should be upwards of 230, I think, roughly. So I had 2 coffees in the morning. I'm assuming it's around 50 milligrams of caffeine. Of course, it varies a lot, and unless you measure it, you never know. But like if that is roughly 100, then I have 200 more, and let's see how that goes. Like on the uphill ride, I think I'm going somewhere either along or over these mountains in front of me, so the caffeine boost should work for another like 3-4 hours from now, which will be plenty enough to finish the ride. And it should wear off roughly when I have lunch and go for a nap. So yeah, the taste of the caffeine shot is horrible. There's some tea with some guarana extract, like tastes completely horrible. You need to put the water down also with it. But yeah, I only need one for the race. So I think on the race day itself, I'm going to have like a coffee and then an energy drink. I'll probably go with like a Monster energy drink, which would put me up with around like 200 milligrams for the start of the event. And then I'll take a shot with like a 200 milligrams on the bike, and then I will probably top up with some Coke or Coca-Cola on the run, like in the early kilometers. Because one mistake that I always made before, and many people actually make, is they start to take caffeine like at the end of the race, which I thought made sense to kind of keep you going, but it actually takes like half an hour to kick in, and then it lasts for another like 4 hours. So if you're taking caffeine at the end of the race, you're basically affecting your ability to recover and maybe go to bed if you're doing like a late race or an Ironman. So if you don't want to ruin your sleep, you actually need to take caffeine early and keep it topped up, because it wears off. My race, I think, will last I mean, it would be good if it lasts like 4.5 hours, which means that caffeine from the start would not be enough until the very end. That's why I'm going to be topping up. But yeah, it doesn't make sense to do it at the end. Like, you can drink Coke for like the psychological effects of having something sweet and sugary. So yeah, for sugar, of course, you can. For caffeine, it doesn't really make sense. So yeah, let's see how it goes. I keep going uphill. This is so beautiful. There's like a canyon on the right side with some relatively old, like either buildings, some sort of dams. And yeah, of course, motorcycles catching me, but yeah, the road itself overall is very calm. So I was completely wrong. So Finestrat is actually a city or a town that I'm going to now. It's somewhere further from the coast, and the big building city is actually the Benidorm. I think can be very easy to offend the locals. So yeah, now I keep seeing the signs to Finestrat, and I think I'm actually going to be passing it somewhere further and that I think was just Benidorm. So yeah, I'm actually still 5k to go on the third interval, but I finished my water bottle with the drink, and now switching to the next one earlier, which probably makes sense because I'm going to be descending where I'm not going to be drinking, and it's going to be going faster than climbing uphill. But that's really nice. These very short kind of, I don't know if it looks like pines in a way, but not really. And that's some thunderstorm. Noticed an interesting fact, which is really not surprised, but I never get used to this. That volume on the bike really helps. Like there was a moment right now I was pushing like 230 watts. There was slight shadow and my heart rate is like 140. I mean, in a racing situation in 6 days, because of the adrenaline, it would probably be like 160 or so, especially after the swim. But like, given how much riding I was doing this year, now I'm doing like 210 watts uphill and 138 beats per minute. I'm going relaxed. I don't really need that much carbs as I'm taking now. Especially going uphill, it's easy to push the watts. But yeah, just riding bike a lot works great for getting better at it. I'm coming back here with a chest mount for a GoPro. Some of the descents are so pretty and scary, just well because the speed is like 60 plus k an hour, but it's so nice. And I'm recording only on the uphills, where I'm actually catching a few cyclists, which is nice. Lots of groups coming down the hill. I'm on my fourth interval, which goes really hard because I have steeper descents and uphills, so the average power is very unstable. It ends up being higher on the uphills, but basically zero on the downhills. This is the view, at least itself is the usual, the very nice. There's a sign to Alicante, and I'm not going there. I'm going the opposite direction. I guess going on the right of this mountain, and then only coming down, going up and up and up. I was just riding down there, and now I'm going like up around this mountain. So cool. Now it feels like if I'm pushing like 200 to maybe 220 watts uphill, if it's an uphill, it feels like I could be going forever. And it's so interesting. In 2016, when I just started cycling, we went on a family trip to Cyprus. I didn't have kids there back then, so we rented a car with my wife, and I got the bike with me, and I was cycling and she would just drive the same route. And yeah, sometimes she would just pace me behind me, just like to cover me from the upcoming traffic. So of course trying not to block anyone. But I remember I just didn't have enough endurance and power to push myself through whatever I planned. So I would ride 1-2 hours, and then I would just get into the car with her, and yeah, and we would put the bike into the car and then drive the rest of the way. And one day was actually pretty sad because of how beautiful that was. We started near the sea, and the whole route was actually just climbing up and up and up. So after 400 meters of elevation, I just couldn't turn the pedals. It was around maybe 10% gradient at this point. I just couldn't go any further at all. So I stopped the ride then. But if I had the power to go up to 700, so I think it was around 700 or 800 meters of elevation, where like the highest peak that was in Crete, in Greece. So if I had the power to go up to 700, I could have ridden like the very beautiful mountain pass, basically like I'm doing now. But I just didn't have the power. I had to stop after about maybe an hour of straight climbing, and oh wow, it says there might be snow. So yeah, now I wish to go everywhere like I traveled before I started cycling, and just repeat the routes. And it could have been a nice cycling camp, which it was in a way, but like with just much lower volume. And now, yeah, still have 6k to go until the hardest 15k interval. I'm going very much in line with the average power that I need to push. So tired, I guess, mentally of going up, that right here it feels like I could go on the aero bars, but my computer says it's 4% up gradient. Like the road looks flat, but it's not flat at all. Okay, I made the mistake with route planning. I couldn't actually foresee that, but now I know. I went through a small town called Rilu, I think it's called Rilu, and the route went actually through the super narrow street right between the walls of the buildings, and then a super narrow switchy downhill section. So I think I added, like there's like some shortcut that I took which I shouldn't have done, and I could go over the regular wider roads, but I went through like a super narrow section of the town, basically braking all the time and not pushing like the power really over this, I don't know, like maybe a kilometer of an interval. But anyway, now I'm over the last one. Need to push 215 watts for 15k, and then I'm just relaxing on my way home. So this section has a little more climbing, but I think it also has like the start of the descent at the end. So I think the overall average power would be lower than I need, but the normalized power must be okay. And I'm 10 minutes into my cool down. All of these 10 minutes, I was actually going probably around 40 to 50k an hour average all the way downhill, and now I am basically on my flat route to home, which I know where I am. I can finally just relax and wait to get home for the next, I don't know, maybe I need another 20 minutes to get home. So I finished the hardest interval actually below the needed power. I think it was around 200 watts where I needed 215. But yeah, all was due to the downhill at the end, because at the top of the hill I was averaging 220 watts, and then the downhill section started and I just couldn't pick up the power. I couldn't pedal downhill that hard, so we kept going down. Overall, I think the day went very well. Like, I feel okay after 90k, or I'm like 3 hours 15, 83k, and I feel good. Almost home. 93k, 1180 meters of elevation. So yeah, pretty good ride. What I have left is 1,000 meter, basically 1k open water swim, and yeah, I want to try swimsuit, wetsuit, and a tri-suit. Yes, I'm pretty much done. I hope I'll get the packages I'm waiting for before the race. Otherwise my bike will look just like this. But I do need the bike rack, and ideally I need the race wheels for the only race of the year. Otherwise it would be pretty not great to order them but not get before the race. But yeah, I think the ride went very well. So I'm gonna just recover now and then go for a swim. 6 days until the race, 5 days until we go to the race venue. See ya.